In 2012, you created a list of overrated white people.
Yes,
And Donald Trump was on that list.
he was. I'm a visionary.
Why did you feel in 2012 that Donald Trump was an overrated white person?
His wealth is overstated. His shows are not as solid as we want. His rags to riches tale is undermined by the fact that he got a shitload of money from his father. You know what I mean? People say, oh, it's $1 million or $2 million. Yeah, a couple million in the 70s is a lot of money to start a business.
Yeah, but not. I mean, but $1 million will not get you 100 million. You know what I'm saying? You have
No
to be
doubt
pretty
about
smart
it. No doubt
You
about
have to
it.
be very, very smart to turn $1 million into 100 million.
Right, and I'm saying one, I don't think
Turning $1 million to 1.5 into 2 is really not that hard.
Right.
You know, over time. But
you can
turning
just live
$1
and do
million
that.
into
Right,
100
no. One, I'm saying it wasn't $1 million. I'm just using an arbitrary number, but I think the amount of resources he had in addition to the money, advice, advisors, support, inside deals, access, is different than if, a homeboy down the street got $10 million or $20 million. Again, I'm not taking anything away from his business acumen. I'm not saying he has no talent. I'm not saying It's like when people sit on the end of an NBA bench and they're like, "Oh, that guy can't play." No, that motherfucker can play. He can play better than everybody in the world except the 11 people in front of him. You know what I mean? And Donald Trump is a boss. I'm not taking anything away from him. Remember, I didn't say he's not talented. I'm saying he's overrated. And that comes everything down to later on, it was his birtherism, questioning the president's birth certificate. I mean, all of it, shifted his narrative from just this New York Democrat who's a little bit of a dick on TV to somebody who's really dangerous for America, but America didn't see it yet. They didn't see that he was positioning himself to do exactly what he's doing now. And I think I saw that, and that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you the one thing that sort of creeps me out about Donald Trump was, I don't know if you saw this clip, but during the Republican National Convention, when his daughter was, did her speech, was leaving, the way he sort of touched her seemed a bit inappropriate. Do you know what I'm talking about?
People have talked about it. I haven't seen it. I have no comment.
You haven't seen it? And there was an interview where Trump said that if that wasn't his daughter, she'd be someone he would date.
Right.
And it's kind of like the ickiness.
It creeps. I'll say that comment.
And you have a daughter. Would you ever say that about your daughter?
I can't imagine saying that. I can't imagine feeling like that. I'd like to think that there was nothing more to it than just a really awkward sentence structure. I don't have any opinion on it other than to say that it was an odd comment and it made people uncomfortable.
I mean, do you feel that Trump really could be a dangerous president? I mean, it was really gotten to the point where, remember the whole 50 GOP thing? Like all the, there's like 50 Republican security advisors from various presidents leading back to Nixon. They've all came together and wrote a letter saying that Donald Trump is going to, could potentially be the most dangerous president of all time when it comes to foreign policy. Like he has no idea how it works at all.
Well, that would be that's a very high bar because we've had some pretty dangerous presidents when it comes to foreign policy. If you're sitting in Iraq right now, if you're sitting in Afghanistan right now, if you're in Libya right now, if you're in Sudan right now, you might be like, I don't know, Trump got a lot to beat, But of course he's dangerous. I mean, his worldview, to the extent that he has one, and I don't really think Trump has much of a worldview, is a dangerous one. The things that he said about nuclear weapons, the things he said about Muslims, the things he said about Mexicans, are not only bizarre, but they're dangerous. I think the thing that gives me a little bit of comfort is the idea that his policies are so unworkable, and he has such little support from his party that I don't worry about a wall going up in Mexico or a ban on Muslims, as a practical matter. But Trump is dangerous. I've never said otherwise. But the thing we can't ever forget is that Hillary Clinton's foreign policy is dangerous. Barack Obama's foreign policy was dangerous. And I don't want us to ever move into the space of comfort where we feel like, woo, we got rid of that Trump, we good. No, we got rid of Trump, but we still got a lot of work to do under Clinton to make sure that we have a safe world, to make sure we have a just world, to make sure that we have the kind of distributions of resources and the kind of peacemaking processes, the type of diplomacy that we need around the world and domestically.
Well, I mean, I had a conversation with Praz off camera about Trump. And his main worry was not so much Trump. He was worried about the person who's going to be running after Trump, who's actually going to take a look at the type of buttons that Trump managed to push successfully and basically come with a rhetoric that's not so over the top.
But similar in print.
But similar, but just a lot more refined.
I ain't worried about that.
No?
No. One, I think a Trump victory is not particularly likely at this moment, given everything we've seen, just looking at the electoral map.
Yeah.
But I think that, similar to Obama, right? We had an Obama and we went to the other extreme. I think it's more likely that
Obama, we went to the other extreme? Explain.
No, I'm saying we had a President Obama, and if Trump were to be elected, that would be the other extreme.
Okay.
We had an articulate, principled, mild-mannered, well-educated, smart, disciplined family man, right? And now we got Donald Trump.
Right.
I would imagine that the pendulum will swing back the other way, because before Obama was George W. Bush, right? The cowboy, the guy you'd have a beer with, the guy who found pride in mispronouncing words, right? So it's an interesting kind of balance, right, that we go back and forth with. So I'm less worried about there being a kinder, softer fascist after Donald Trump. Although I think it's an interesting question, which is what is resonating among the people that makes Trump an attractive candidate, knowing that he doesn't know anything. Because I mean, at this point, we all kind of know he doesn't know anything. We just don't. Some of us just don't care. It's a tough moment, you know.
Yeah.
Because we have a set of political options that are far from ideal. We have a public that is hungry for the drama of the horse race, but I'm not sure has the kind of appetite for justice that I'd want them to have. But the one thing Donald Trump has done for me, I think, is he's made it clear to the world who doubted us that there's still a big section of America that is racist, that is xenophobic.
Yeah.
You know, and now they used to hide in the supermarket. You'd be shopping with them. You ain't know it. They used to be in your classrooms if you were a teacher. Or they used to be in the pulpit with you or in the pews with you as if you went to church. And now we smoked them out and they put little red and yellow hats on. You know?
And the one thing that worries me, because I got into a conversation with a friend of mine who's like a Washington, D.C. insider. And I asked him if he thinks that Trump will win. And he says, he told me maybe. And the reason was this. He said that when you look at the people who are behind Hillary Clinton, if they're going to vote for Hillary Clinton, they will go vote for Hillary Clinton. When you look at the people who are behind Trump, they're not only going to vote for Trump, but they're going to get 10 of their friends. There's definitely an excitement over Trump that Hillary does not have right now. That's
true. The problem is that person who likes Trump that much probably doesn't have 10 friends. I mean, just electorally, if you look at the numbers, I mean, it just ain't enough of them. It just ain't enough of them. And the states where they do have 10 friends and their friends got 10 friends are Georgia and Mississippi and Texas. But the problem is, in the places that are contested, those 4 or 5 states is going to come down to, there's just not enough of those people right now. Now, there's still plenty of time left. Hillary Clinton could stumble. There could be a scandal. We could have a series of terror attacks, God forbid, that change people's disposition. I mean, there are things that could happen that could put us somewhere else. But as of now, I think, we may be seeing a Clinton administration again. And I just hope, again, that all the viewers, all the voters, all the students, all the elderly, everybody is prepared to engage and challenge and reshape this world no matter who's president. We got work to do. You don't see too many PhDs tatted up the way you are. What do the tats represent? What exactly are they? There's so many, man. The ones you can see, I'll tell you about. This is a rest in peace that I got in 01, just for friends on my wrist for people. I had I've had lots of friends die, but a few died in front of me, and it was pretty devastating. And so I got that tat. This one says "Hasta la victoria siempre venceremos." I got this in honor of the Cuban Revolution, and it was talking about really how important freedom fighting has been to me across the globe. I got these Adinkra symbols. These are from the Akan, and they mean different things. This one is a Sankofa bird, which means it is never taboo to go back and fetch that which has been left behind. It's really about recognizing history and tradition. This one is a love never gets lost on its way home. This was a love tattoo. This is a Palestinian freedom fighter who's wearing kufaya, who's holding up the two hands for al-Nasr, or the victory. And these are my hip hop tapes. At the top, of course, is Nas's Illmatic, greatest album ever made. But you got Criminal Minded here. You got Tribe Called Quest, People Instinctive Travels. You got Eric B. and Rakim, Paid in Full. You got Outkast, ATLians. You got Notorious B.I.G., Ready to Die. You got Fugees, The Score. You got my Power 99 mixtape. Anybody in Philly know what that was about? And then you got Common, One Day to All. I mean, like Water for Chocolate. And these aren't the best albums of all time. These were the tapes that mattered to me and affected me in a certain kind of way. I got Black Star Line in honor of Marcus Garvey and the movement. I got Assata Shakur right here. Got a crown from when I was in the Holy Tab movement, and I got Malcolm X up here.
What do you think about the whole situation?
Man, my point of view, man, I really feel like they tried to paint a bad picture on my brother and tried to make him look like he was a hater. It was some envy, jealousy type shit, you know what I'm saying? And actuality, you know what I'm saying? Bro been having this shit, man. He been in the condo.
I got my hat on and I had my Coke bottles up under my hat. And I'm sitting at the dinner table like an asshole with the hat on, knowing she gonna tell me to take it off. And I'm just sitting there just gulping down, you know, in my zone. She said, take that goddamn hat off at the dinner table. I'm like, come on, Mom. Coke everywhere.